The Egyptian Gods, Konami's biggest failure. Let's watch.
If you grew up watching Yu-Gi-Oh, there are 3 cards that live in your brain rent-free. 3 cards that made you feel like the whole show just stopped.
Yeah, Dark Magician, Blue Eyes White Dragon, and Red Eyes Black Dragon, yes.
Not just powerful, but mythological. These were
Yugiboomer,
monsters, they were gods. And then you got them in the actual card game. And to be honest, they're ass! And I mean that. Almost embarrassingly bad. Cards that had entire tournament arcs built around them that kids like me would have traded their entire collection just to own a single god. And in a real duel, they kind of sucked.
Well, they weren't playable when, you know, probably when Sam was a kid. Those cards didn't exist exactly, or they existed like as a collection piece rather than anything. Maiden of Black Warrior, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome, welcome. And yeah, don't worry, we will talk about Tag Force later. Don't worry. Yeah.
You spend 3 monsters to get one on the field, and your opponent destroys it with cards like Dark Hole, Raigeki, Smashing Ground, and even a Fissure. That gap between what
Fissure, insane card.
the Egyptian gods are and what they actually do in the card game is what this video is all about. Where they come from and why Konami never really fixed it, and what a real fix might actually look like. Before we get into the problems, we need to talk about what these cards were in the show, because I think a lot of people who didn't grow up with it don't fully get why the Egyptian gods carry so much weight in the anime. It's not just that they
Really? I mean, really? Do we want to get there? I don't know. I feel like the anime.
they were strong. It's that the show treated them like they were in a different category from everything else. Well, they have to be, because they are gods, right? And I want to say something up front before I describe each one, because it matters for the rest of this video. The Egyptian gods in the anime never had a consistent, official written effects. There was no rulebook. The show just made them do whatever was most dramatic in that scene.
Thank you so much, Crimson Butterfly, for the for the sub. Welcome, welcome.
And the different episodes handled them differently. The fan wikis that catalog this stuff describe the anime effects as a reconstruction, pieced together from what characters said, from gameplay moments, from video games adaptations. So when I talk about each god on what they do in the show, I am just describing the impressions these cards left behind. Because
yeah, I guess they kind of did whatever was needed for the plot, right? Yeah.
the Egyptian gods anime effects are completely different from the ones that are currently in the trading card game. First, let's start off with Slifer the Sky Dragon, Yugi's god. This is Slifer's anime effect. Requires 3 tributes to normal summon, cannot be normal set. This card's normal summon cannot be negated. If this card is normal summon, cards and effects cannot be activated except the effects of divine monsters. If this card is special summoned in face-up defense position, when an opponent monster declares an attack, or when your opponent targets another monster you control for an effect, change the target to this card. This card is unaffected by card effects while face-up on the field, and cannot be destroyed by card effects except the effects of a divine monster. Cannot be returned from the field to the hand by a card effect. Your opponent cannot tribute this card. Control of this card cannot be changed. Your opponent cannot equip this card with equip cards. This card's original attack and defense become the number of cards in your hand times 1,000. If a monster is summoned to your opponent's field, target that monster's, it loses 2,000 attack and defense, depending on its battle position. Then if its attack and defense becomes 0 by this effect, destroy it. Once returned during the end phase, if this card was targeted by a spell and or monster effect this turn, negate that effect. Once returned during the end phase, if this card is special summoned from the graveyard, or if this banished card was special summoned this turn, send this card to the graveyard. If it was special summoned from the graveyard, or banish it if this banished card was special summoned. Bro.
Can you mind if this was actually printed? Like, it will be one of those magic cards that is just like, just text, right? It has no picture. It's just the text.
This is apparently the anime effect from the Wikia, and basically they made Slifer a god. They gave Slifer a lot of immunity effects and a bunch of negation effects alongside the attack boost. The Slifer effect also applies if a monster is also summoned in defense as well, which is actually pretty broken compared to the one that we have in the TCG. The TCG Slifer still kept the attack scaling.
It's still less text than average pendulum monster. I know you're joking, right? I know you're joking. But it's nowhere as close as that. It's too much.
Which is what they held on to with, the amount of cards in hand. But the immunity from the anime is gone. It is basically non-existent. And the second mouth got closed. And what I mean by this is that Slifer only works if a monster is summoned in attack, not attack and defense. So that's kind of a big nerf on Slifer in my opinion. And the fact that Slifer has no protection means that if you sacrifice 3 monsters to summon Slifer the Sky Dragon, if your opponent even has a card like, I don't know, a Fissure, or a Dark Hole, or a Regeki, or even a Change of Heart,
Strike.
like, Slifer's gone, bro. This card's ass. Now let's go on to Obelisk the Tormentor, Kaiba's god.
Oh my god, where is this going?
Tribute to normal summon this card. This card's normal summon cannot be negated. If this card is normal summon, cards and effects cannot be activated except the effects of divine monsters. If this card is special summon in face-up defense position, when an opponent monster declares an attack, or when your opponent targets another monster control or an effect, change the target to this card. This card is unaffected by card effects while face-up on the field. It cannot be destroyed by card effect except with divine monsters. Cannot be returned from the field to the hand by card effects. Your opponent cannot tribute this card. Control of this card cannot be changed. Your opponent cannot equip this card with equip cards. Basically the exact same as Slifer. It has a bunch of immunities, okay? It's basically unaffected by everything. Here's what's different. If this attack position card battles, quick effect, you contribute 2 other monsters. This card's attack becomes infinity during the damage step only. If this card is in attack position, quick effect, you contribute 2 other monsters, destroy all monster opponent controls. And if you do, inflict 4,000 damage to your opponent. This card cannot declare an attack the turn you activate this effect. This card is actually broken. Holy smokes. Tribute 2 and burn for 4,000? That's insane. But in the TCG, Obelisk is obviously nerfed. It doesn't have the effect to burn 4,000. It doesn't gain the ability to have infinity attack. It obviously cannot be targeted, which is actually pretty good, but it still loses to a single Mirror Force. Take that in.
So
God. Losing to a Mirror Force? Now let's talk about the Winged Dragon Raw.
But to be fair, there's a lot of competitive cards. Like, a lot of meta decks just lose to Mirror Force. Like, that's just how it works. Like, we're not prepared for Mirror Force anymore. And you can make whatever, and yeah, unless you're summoning towers or whatever, like everything loses to Mirror Force.
Chicken. And Raw in the anime is the most complex out of the 3 gods. The Winged Dragon Raw. This card cannot be set. This card can only be tribute summoned by tribute.
It's the one that you have to destroy like green stuff, and specifically Wadapon, and you have to give like $20 to your opponent. Remember? It was something like that, right?
3 monsters. The normal summon this card cannot be negated. When this card is normal summon, spells and traps and other monster effects cannot be activated. While this card is on the field, the summon of this card cannot be negated. Control of this card cannot be switched, and it's unaffected by the effects of spells, traps, and other monsters. Your opponent cannot tribute this card. When this card is special summoned from the graveyard, it is sent to the graveyard during the end phase. If this card is special summoned, destroy all cards your opponent controls. This card can always attack during the turn it was summoned. This card's attack and defense are equal to the combined attack and defense of the monster's tribute to summon it. You may pay 1,000 life points to destroy all monster opponent controls. When this card is special summoned, you can use these effects. You can tribute monsters in order to increase this card's attack by the tribute monster's attack. You can also pay any amount of life points in order to increase this card's attack.
What is this, dude?
This card can attack directly. What? If you use this effect, you can send 1 defusion in your hand under your control to the graveyard in order to reduce this card's attack to 0 to increase
defusion specifically? What the hell? What is this?
The life points by this card's prior attack. Also negate that attack. Okay, so you gain your life back so you don't die. During another player's turn, you can pay 1,000 life points, immediately transform this card into the Winged Dragon of Raw Phoenix mode. Huh? Until the end of this turn, this effect is activated. The attack and defense of this card are reduced to 0, and it gains the following effect. This card cannot be destroyed by battle, and if you take no battle damage from battles involving this card cannot be targeted and is unaffected by the effects of other monsters, spells, and traps. The effect of Winged Dragon of Raw can only activate this card for 1 turn. Honestly, that was a mouthful, but now we know the true potential of Raw. I feel like these anime effects I'm reading right now are just a bunch of bogus, bro. People are just making this.
It sounds made up, dude. That is because Marek giving his LP to Ra was treated as a fusion summon, if I recall correctly. Oh, interesting. But that is so weird, dude. When Marek fused with Ra, it diffused to regain life The life points he sacrificed? Dude, that is so stupid, dude. What is this card?
In the anime, like, this is what happened in the anime, bro. It's broken. Powerful. It's a god. And yet, here's the thing. Konami still had to make it a real card. And what they did was take all of Ra's anime abilities and split them across 5 or 6 separated support cards. Ancient Chant gives you the tribute attack, inherit. Sun God Unification handles the light points. Blaze Cannon gives you the immunity. Spear Mode handles the summoning mechanic. The base TCG Raw cannot be special summoned at all. Has no protection, no control lock, and arrives at 0 attack unless you pay light points into it. Look,
Honestly, it's really cool that they added cards like that. The support is basically completing that one card from the anime. I like it, honestly. I know it's like not the most viable thing, but it's just awesome that it exists and it can be used, right? Egyptian God cards, when I activate Destructive Karma Cannon. Oh yeah, that will actually work.
Real card in the TCG is obviously going to be weaker than its anime counterpart, and that is normal. But the gods weren't just brought in line with the game's balance, they suck. And then the missing pieces got turned into separate support cards that only work for one god each. There is no glue between connecting all gods together. 3 cards that meant everything to a generation of fans now living in 3 completely separate half decks that can't really function on their own. So now that we established on what the gods are actually supposed to do, let's talk about on why they still suck. The Egyptian gods have a structural problem that nobody can really solve. 3 tributes, that's the wall. In a game where summoning 1 monster for 1 tribute already
But there is support, right? There is support to make this easy. Why does he look like that? Hold on. There is support to make this easier. Bro, 5 separate cards to fit all of this, right? That's crazy. With the current PSCT, I think they could just errata each god into what they should be, but how would you fit all those things there? And also, what would be the point of the support cards? I don't think errata will be the solution. It would probably be like a retrain. I feel like a retrain would make more sense. With Ra having its effects divided into its already existing 3 monster variants. I honestly feel like retrains are the best way rather than errata here. I don't know. And Kaiba very like, screw the rules, I summon all 5 pieces of obelisk. You don't fit every effect, you just give them enough effects that are actually relevant. I don't think errata will be the best. I feel like it has to be a retrain. I feel like retrains will be cooler too.
Resources, you're emptying your whole board just to get 1 body on the field, and that 1 body can easily just get destroyed by 1 single card like a Mirror Force. Konami's answer to this is, over the years, has been to release support. Ra's Disciple, for instance, can flood the board and use 3 copies as tributes. Guardian Slime to search Ancient Chant and feed into Egyptian God Slime. Obelisk has Fist of Fate, Soul Energy Max, Breaking Ruin God. Slifer has Thunder Force Attack, Revive Sky God. The problem is that none of them work together. The most
They don't? I thought they did. I'm pretty sure they did. It's so weird that they don't work together. They have to do what they did with the GX trio. Yeah, I agree. The problem with retrains is they wouldn't have the original names printed in them. It is not the same as having the Win Round of Ra than having a card that is just treated as such. But it's so cool though. So cool.
Support that a god has gotten is probably Ra, and it's hardly a complete engine as well. There is not a single card in the entire Egyptian God catalog that works for all 3. You can argue that Egyptian God Slime can be used to, help tribute summon any of the gods. Soul Crossing is pretty good among the 3 gods.
Yeah, that's the one.
You guys get what I mean, right? Like, there's nothing tying them together. And the other thing I want to say is, because I know someone's going to bring it up, Sam, why don't they just make a new Obelisk or a new Slifer or a new Ra? And you know what? Konami does that sometimes. They retrain something that's old. A new Obelisk with a simpler summoning condition and some negation effect stapled on, that sounds good and might be competitive. But to be honest, I think that's not what the community wants. People want Obelisk, the actual one from the show.
What the fuck?
A deck that can actually function.
How?
And to me, that's a much harder problem, but it is the right one to solve.
Nah,
So
we're just making up problems, dude. Just make a new one. What are you talking about? Yeah, it's obviously harder to solve. That's why we should just go to the next one, right? Just make a new one. Why do we need that one in particular? Resonator have a lot of cards that is treated like Red Dragon Archfiend what exists. There are cards that are treated always like the Hungry Burger, right? Angry Burger is always treated as Hungry Burger. So they could do the same with Egyptian God. It's the same thing. The problem with retrains, if they wouldn't have the original names. Wait, I already read that. I don't know. I feel like they could just make a retrain that is the same, that is always treated as the same card in the deck and everything, and you can only have that one. It'd just be easier. Huh? It would be easier just don't like Santa Claus, where the text is just overframe time border. What? Yep, yeah, just what I was saying. I want to fix the OG Ra, not a new adjacent card that is just treated as Ra. Bro, the monsters barely do anything. If you force the old ones into the modern era, you are playing an OTK deck. These monsters don't do anything making an end board. Best you could do is make a Slifer and hope the opponent gets floodgated out. Yeah, you have to make new ones. I feel like we're just making up problems for no reason. Let's just make new ones.
On what a real fix might actually look like. Not a new god with broken effects. Not only a support card that helps one god, but something that makes all three Egyptian gods work together.
I hate
all
this.
All three gods existing support. The older cards people already have, and new cards that gives a strategy a real identity in the game. But before we begin, a huge shout out to my editor, Jean. He's the one that helped me. Actually, it was his idea to make this video. He's the one that actually came up with all these new god effects. And I cannot wait to just put on the Konami suit today and showcase you guys on what these new support cards can actually do for all three Egyptian gods.
All right.
And a huge shout out to Kraus as well for designing these cards that you guys are about to see. So, if Konami gave these god cards their full attention, what would that look like? And here's my answer. All right, first card up, Egyptian God's Disciple. Light attribute, level 4, fairy type, 1100 attack, and 600 defense. And before I even read this effect, just look at the design concept here. This card is meant to incorporate elements of all three Egyptian gods into its armor. It's the servant of all three gods, not just one. That's the vibes we're trying to set. So the card reads, this card can be treated as 3 tributes for the tribute summon of a divine beast monster.
All right.
During the main phase quick effect, you can reveal 1 divine monster or 1 other card that mentions divine beast monster in your hand. Special summon this card from your hand, then you can set 1 spell that mentions divine beast monster from your deck or graveyard. It can be activated this turn. If this card is normal summon or special summon, you can add 1 divine monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Each of these are a hard once per turn. Now for the applications. That opening line, treated as 3 tributes by itself, is the entire engine. 1 card covers the full tribute requirement for any divine beast, exact same way as Egyptian God's line. There's no need to set up 3 monsters on the field because 1 Egyptian God Disciple is the entire tribute of any of the gods. The simplicity of this card is on point, unlike Raw Disciples where you have to play 3 bricks in the deck for 1 card to actually function. This card basically replaces the old Raw's Disciple. The summon effect, searching a god from deck or graveyard, means the moment Disciple hits the field, you're already grabbing a god card directly from your deck into your hand. And by having the ability to set the spell or trap card directly from your deck or graveyard, means that you're already playing around Drone Lockbird. But the quick effect is the reason why this card is absolutely dangerous and is what the gods are actually missing. You can do all this on your opponent's turn. This card becomes an interruption. So reveal this card in your hand and a god card or a monster that mentions divine beast. Summon this card directly from your hand and set one of the most powerful spell cards that the Egyptian gods has access to, Soul Crossing. The fact that you're able to get Soul
Oh my god, what am I... I mean, I guess that sounds good. I don't know what to tell you. That sounds really good. I mean, yeah, it makes sense. I don't know what to tell you. I have an idea. Goon Disciple. If he's summoned, he can summon 5 dragoons and 20 cards to your hand. It does sound like the kind of support they will need. Yeah, I mean, this sounds good. This sounds good. I don't know. Yeah.
Crossing directly from your deck on turn 0. And also, the fact that Disciple on summon can search you a God card. You know what that means, right? That first turn summon of Disciple, setting Soul Crossing on turn 0 means that your Soul Crossing is live to tribute your opponent's entire board to summon a
Turn 0's lifer for a Floodgate. I don't know.
God card from your hand. So Egyptian God Disciple is absolutely broken. One of the best starters in the entire deck. Searches a spell, searches a god, makes your Soul Crossing live. This card is busted.
Yeah.
Next, we got Egyptian God Guardian. Water attribute, level 10, Aqua type, 0 attack, 3000 defense. This is the retrain of...
My OC character isn't broken, the OC character. That is so true. I mean, if your opponent is on links, you summons lifer, they are done for. Yeah, exactly. Like, I think, like, yes, it is indeed a really good card, but it's kinda like too good, right? Yeah, if you want to make Egyptian Gods playable, yeah, that will make it playable, totally.
Guardian Slime. Same creature, but more elevated to serve the gods. The card reads, you can send a divine monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard. Then special summon this card from your hand and set a trap that mentions divine beast monster from your deck or graveyard, and it can be activated this turn. And when your opponent activates a card or effect on the field while you have divine beast monster on the field or in your graveyard, as a quick effect, you can banish this card from your hand or graveyard to negate that effect. Both effects are once per turn. So now the gods finally have a negation built in the deck, which is pretty insane. So the applications. That summon effect is doing double work simultaneously. Sending a divine monster from your deck to the graveyard means you're loading Immortal Phoenix directly in your graveyard, setting up its revival without ever needing to draw into it, while at the same time setting up your god traps. One activation is basically 2 layers of setup already in place. The Guardian Slime synergy is still intact. Use this as material for Egyptian God Slime. Now you have a built-in negation ready to use in the graveyard because you send a divine monster from the deck to summon the slime. Also, sending the trap card on the very first turn is really important because we're going to be covering the new broken trap card in a second.
Oh boy.
So slime is kind of like the deck's version of Magician Souls, being able to dump a god directly to the graveyard and converting this into God Slime makes your negations live.
I mean, to be fair, I know we were making fun of this, but like this is the type of cards that kind of already exists. So I guess I could see it. I could see it happening. Like this honestly sounds reasonable. It will be top tier, obviously, right? Well, not obviously. I mean, it depends on the meta, I guess. I will always think Slifer's Floodgate effect should be continuous. Even activated and mandatory makes no sense to me. It just makes Slifer worse than it already is. Yeah. So it needs a retrain is what you're saying, right? That's what you're saying, that it needs a retrain. The God of Greed level 2. If it's someone, draw 2 Pot of Greeds. If a Pot of Greed is activated, you can activate the Pot of Greed from the graveyard. Then return it to the hand. Not once per turn. Yeah, you know, that also sounds good, Pablo. I think like we need that in the game. And we need to unban Pot of Greed. Yeah.
Next, we got Egyptian God's Knight. This card right here is light attribute, level 4 warrior type with 1600 attack and 1400 defense. This is a retrain of King's Knight, Yugi's original setup piece for Slifer. It's the exact same warrior, but in a completely different era. The card reads, if this card is normal summon or special summon, you can special summon one monster that mentions Divine Beast monster from your deck in defense position, except for Egyptian God's Knight. During the main phase, quick effect, you contribute this card from your hand or field. This turn, Divine Beast monsters you control will gain 1000 attack. Then you contribute summon 1 divine monster. Applications.
Okay.
That summon effect is your consistency play. Knights hits the field, Disciple comes out of the deck. You now have Knights and Disciples both on the field. And Disciple counts as 3 tributes by itself. 2 cards, full tribute requirement covered, God Summon ready to go. The quick effect is your combo finisher. You tribute Knight, Divine Beast monster gets 1000 attack, and you contribute summon a god on top of everything else happening that turn. Remember, Disciples on summon gets to search a god. You know what that means, right? Instant access to turn 0 spear mode. So with knights and disciples on field, and since disciple searches a god on summon, on your opponent's turn, you can tribute summon the knight, and then tribute your opponent's entire field for spear mode if they have 3 monsters. So not only is this card a starter, but it's also one of those cards that is your built-in interruption as well. This card is a great push card, and also at the same time, kind of has like a tour guide ability to summon, you know, disciples from your deck, let's say. Or you can even summon Egyptian God Guardian to get access to a instant negate, right? This card is actually busted. Next, we got prayers
busted
to the Egyptian gods. This card right here is a continuous spell, and it's the glue that holds the entire deck together.
I have to say it. I already said it before, but I need to keep saying it because the art is so good. Like, the art is the best part of this. I really like it.
It reads, when this card is activated, you can add up to 1 divine monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand, and or 1 other monster that mentions divine beast monster from your deck or graveyard, then discard 1 card. During your main phase, you can normal summon 1 divine monster in addition to your normal summoner set. Also, your divine beast monsters are unaffected by your opponent's monster effects. You can only activate 1 prayers.
Excuse me. During your main phase, you can normal summon 1 divine monster in addition to your normal summon. Your divine beast monsters anywhere are unaffected by your opponent's monster effects. Are we missing a line here? Your divine beast monsters anywhere are unaffected by monster effects. That's the end of the sentence? Are we not forgetting something? Wait, am I misreading this? When this card is activated, add to your hand up to 1 divine monster from your deck your deck or graveyard. Under 1 monster that mentions divine beast monster. Such monster's card name, then discard 1 card. During your main phase, you can normal summon 1 divine monster in addition to your normal summon. You can only gain this effect once per turn. You can only gain this effect once per turn. Your divine beast monsters anywhere are unaffected by opponent's monster effects. Basically, you can't DD Crow the Mortal Phoenix from the grave in response to a monster. But like, right, for the rest of the duel or what? You can only gain this effect once per turn. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. I understand the lawyer game, but I feel like this is all weirdly worded. Does this mean like your divine beast monsters are like? Wait. Well, this is on the field, right? Because this continues. Oh, that's the part that I was missing. Because this continues. Okay, my bad.
To the Egyptian gods once per turn.
Favorite god? I don't know. It's Lifer, I think.
Applications like Melody the Awakening Dragons, like Wishes with the Eyes of Blue, this card instantly get access to 2 god cards directly from your deck to your hand. Literally accesses your entire deck, but you're adding 2 cards and discarding 1. The exact same way Melody of the Awakening Dragons, and also the same way that Wishes of Eyes of Blues has it. You're assembling your combo piece off of 1 spell. In a deck that needs specific combination of cards to function, God plus setup plus protection, that's the kind of efficiency is what makes this a real strategy instead of a gimmick. The addition of normal summon for a divine monster is quietly one of the most important lines of this card. Your regular normal summon stays free for knights, for disciples, for your setup plays. And that monster effect immunity, while prayers on the field, completely changes how your opponent has to approach your divine beasts. Cards like Borreload can't steal them, like Liberator Dragon if it comes out during that time. Nibiru can't swipe them, you can't Veiler.
Yeah, you can't negate the effects, right? That's the issue that you had with Slifer, that the effect has to be activated, mandatory activation. So monsters cannot stop that.
In fact, you feel what I'm saying? They're forced into spawn trap cards to answer your gods only, which dramatically narrows the number of cards in the game that can actually deal with your gods. And with prayers on the field, they actually make god cards feel like they're gods. Like, you know, gods are supposed to be unstoppable. This card is nuts, and it's one of those cards that Egyptian god cards need to survive in today's modern climate. Let's go on to the trap. The last card is a trap card that Slime can easily set up. This card right here is Egyptian God's Anger, and this one is designed differently from everything else in the support package because each of its 3 follow-up effects is directly tied to a specific god. It reads, if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, or if you control a Divine Beast monster, you can activate this card from your hand. So it's a hand trap. Choose cards on the field up to the number of Divine Beast monster on the field and in your graveyard and destroy them, then apply one of these effects. Until the end of your opponent's...
Excuse me, choose cards on the field up to the number of divine monsters on the field. And if you're in your graveyard, destroy them, then apply one of these effects.
Turn, they must special summon monsters in attack position. Number 2, special summon 2 Egyptian God Servant token. They cannot be used as a material for a link summon this turn. Effect number 3, return control of all face-up monsters to their owner's hand. So what are the applications with this card? The hand trap activation when your opponent is flooding the board is the first thing worth highlighting. If your opponent controls more monsters than you do, it drops straight from your hand. You're interrupting their plays, wiping a number of their cards equal to however many gods you have on the field and in the graveyard. So obviously, it's an Egyptian god card, so it promotes you to play more gods in your deck. So cards like this becomes insane with the more gods you're playing. So the first effect is based on Slifer. Slifer cuts the attack and defense of every
return the
monster
sphere is like
by
crazy.
2,000. It triggers anger first, and your opponent literally cannot safely summon anything while Slifer is up on the field. And cards that have 2,000 or less
Floodgate, my favorite.
summon in attack mode gets instantly popped if Slifer's on the field. So we're giving that ability where Slifer just controls the field like a floodgate when your opponent summons a monster, which is actually pretty insane. The token generation is for the Obelisk setup. Soul Energy Max requires tribute 2 monsters to wipe the field and deal 4,000 direct damage. Anger pops cards on the board and it drops 2 free tokens, and suddenly you have a surprise Soul Energy Max line up with 0 extra costs. And returning all monsters to their owners is the raw callback. So if you already spear mode your opponent, you can use Egyptian God's Anger's ability to call back the spear mode that you use on your opponent. So when it comes back to your side of the field, you can use this ability to summon Winged Dragon of Ra directly from the deck, which is absolutely broken. And this type of card encourages you to play more Egyptian gods in your deck. So yes, the Egyptian gods that we currently have in the TCG sucks.
Hello,
But with
Misa.
these brand new support, Egyptian gods can actually become something. And not only something, but all 3 gods can all coexist and function all in one deck. So Konami, if you're watching this video, Billy, if you're watching this video, Jerome, if you're watching this video, take some notes, please. I'm giving you free gems.
What are they gonna
I don't
do?
even work for Konami, please. Just make these cards real. And yeah, man, like that'll be insane, man. We just need some solid god card support. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what other archetypes you guys want to see get support, because I know there are hundreds of archetypes out there that needs the most help that they can get. All right, guys. So with these support, Egyptian gods don't suck and aren't gonna fail no more. This is your boy Sam from Team Sam signing out. All right, guys. Peace.
A very funny video. Funny is the word that I choose to use for this. I mean, sure, I guess those will be really good cards. I don't know what to tell you. Those are really good cards. Those are really creative ways of making it interesting. This game is dead. Yeah, 100%. Oh my god. It's a return control, no return to the hand. Oh, wait, that's even better? Question mark? Return control? That is so silly. That is so silly. Yeah, they should just give these effects to Beaver Warrior. They should just make support for Beaver Warrior. I feel like Beaver Warrior deserves it. Pretty accurate. They do need that kind of BS to be playable. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I guess it's that, you know what? I was skeptical about this at the start. But yeah, this actually sounds reasonable, I think. Maybe a little too good. But yeah, I can see it. I would still prefer retrains and just stop, dude. Stop trying to make it work. Just make something new and better from the start. Something planned. These cards were never meant to be actually playable. They were supposed to be like collection things. We laugh about this, but Dracotail beats it. Is Dracotail better than this? Can Dracotail... What can Dracotail do against this? Yeah, I guess so. It depends. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know enough about Dracotel to think about this. Um, we're going back in time. Yeah, we have to rewrite history. Anyways, chat, that was a very fun video. Very interesting to think about. I mean, we think about it. Yeah, we think about it. So yeah, I mean, let me know if you will prefer this type of support or retrains. For me, I still think retrains will be a better idea. With better versions, like more interesting versions, right? That better resemble the game how it is right now, instead of trying to make these cards work. Or let me know if you prefer this type of cards. You will play this or something different, right? If they have the immune to monster effects card up, Dracotail only answer are the trap cards. Sky Striker, Sky Striker smokes this though. Sky Striker smokes this? Yes, yes, because of the spells. Oh, yeah. Well, let me know your opinion, chat.